Welcome into Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. I am Harrison Graham, back with some rumors for you guys. Plus, stick around to the end of the show because we're going to react to Luka Doncic and Team Slovenia's first game at the EuroBasket. We'll tell you who won, how it looked, so stick with us until the end of the video. Let's start things off, though, with Cam Reddish, who, according to reports, has requested a trade from the New York Knicks. He kind of debunked that later on Instagram when the Knicks wished him happy birthday. It is his birthday. Type HBD in the comments if you want. He said, I didn't request a trade, so blah, blah, blah. There's some conflicting stuff. The point is, maybe Cam Reddish could be on the move, so we'll talk about how he could fit in Dallas if that were to happen. You look at Cam Reddish's career stats here through 3 seasons last year, split time with Atlanta and the Knicks, and we've talked about this a lot, Coop. I'll bring you in here in a second, but Cam Reddish has all the talent in the world. He's built like Paul George. Now, those comparisons are unfair, but his body frame and, type, the way he plays could be of like a Paul George. He has come nowhere close to that, though. This is a guy that's been traded once after a great conference finals in 2020, 2021, goes to the Knicks, and Tom Thibodeau, in my opinion, did not like him, which is why he didn't play. So, Coop, you start thinking about Reddish. If he gets traded a second time in 4 NBA seasons here, I mean, what can you really expect out of this guy if he becomes available? Obviously, you'd be banking on upside here.
Yeah, and like you said, he's already been traded once, and reports that he has requested a trade again. At that point, that's more on you than it is on the teams that you've been playing for. He hasn't panned out. He was the number 1 pick in the nation on a team with Zion, or a number 1 player in the nation, on a team with Zion Williamson at Duke, and he's
just okay.
Yeah, he was okay.
He had his moments.
Yep, and then he was actually the pick for the Hawks that the Mavs traded in the Luka Doncic trade. So he ends up in Atlanta, and it never really worked out for him there. He was never really able to get into his groove in a system that should be good for him because Trae Young's creating all kinds of shots and opportunities for others, but for some reason it never worked out for Reddish. So he moves on to the Knicks, and the Knicks organization, until it seems like this offseason where they've kind of gotten it together, have been an absolute mess. So it's never really worked out for Reddish. The raw talent is still there, and I think a team like the Mavs could use him, but are you getting the Cam Reddish that we think should be in the NBA, or are you getting the Cam Reddish that has been over the last 4 years?
Yeah, and look, a guy that's played 3 NBA seasons, if you're still saying, oh, well, this is what he could be, yeah, could he still be a really good player, maybe even an all-star caliber player down the road? Yeah, of course it's possible, but we haven't seen it. We've seen very few glimpses. He was great in the conference semifinals for the Hawks when they beat the 76ers a couple of years ago, but he didn't turn that corner. We were thinking the next year, okay, he's going to start. He's going to play 30 minutes a game. He'll average 15 points per game. I mean, these numbers were unbelievable with how he played in the conference finals as well, shooting 73% from three-point range. You're thinking, okay, big offseason coming up. He's going to take that step. He'll average 15, 16 a game and, maybe not be quite an all-star, but certainly a heavy rotation player. And that just has not come together for him at this point in time. I think the idea of Cam Reddish is better than the player Cam Reddish actually is, at least at this point. 3 years is a decent amount of time. It's not like, obviously you're always evaluating players, but, Jalen Brunson, for example, with the Mavs, he got better each and every year, and he doesn't have as much raw talent as Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish is flatlined. If anything, he's regressed a little bit based on how he played with the Knicks, which wasn't that often because Tom Thibodeau didn't like him in his rotation. And by the way, that was for a team that didn't even sniff the playoffs last year. So, it's just it sounds good. He's one of those names that gets brought up in trades a lot now, and I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. Now, I will say this. When you look at this roster, yeah, after Reggie Bullock, Dorian Finney-Smith, you don't have like a true excellent wing defender, physical player that's got 3-and-D upside, which Cam Reddish does. But again, are you going to trade a piece that's in your rotation now to go get him? Are you going to trade a first-round pick to go get him? I'm not doing that. I'm intrigued by Reddish, but I can't give up any major assets. So here's my trade proposal. Cam Reddish, for Josh Green, Dwight Powell, 2 second-round picks. If there needs to be a salary filler coming to Dallas as well, that's fine. But I'm not giving up a first. There was a trade, Coop, that we broke down maybe about a month ago of sending Maxi Kleber and a first for Cam Reddish. I thought that was ludicrous. Kleber is a guy that will be in this rotation for sure. Sure, you're giving up Green, who was a first-round pick a couple years ago, but I will gamble on the upside of Cam Reddish for Josh Green. I'm not doing it for a guy, though, that's going to play at least 15 minutes per game in this rotation this year. I'm just not going to.
I remember when we were talking about this a month ago, I was all in on giving up Maxi Kleber for Cam Reddish, but after really sitting down and thinking about it, there's no reason to give him up. There's no reason to give up a guy who's going to be in the rotation. He'll play less minutes than he did last year. You ideally want Maxi playing around 20 minutes a game.
Yeah, 15 to 20.
I'm not sure Reddish would play that in this team.
He may not even be in the rotation. He hasn't been in the Knicks rotation, a worse team than the Mavs last year. He was phased out of the Hawks rotation, a team worse than the Mavs last year. Why do we just assume that this guy is going to figure it out and be a good rotation player? Maybe he will, but I'm not going to trade a guy that you know is a rotation player plus draft capital for a major unknown in Cam Reddish.
So you kind of went with Josh Green and Dwight Powell. I went similar, where I went with Josh Green, but I threw Jaden Hardy and took out the picks.
Okay.
If we do this straight up, do the New York Knicks accept this? Probably not.
Yeah,
But this is the best offer I would give them, because I'm not giving up much for Cam Reddish at this point in time.
And I can't give up a first for him because, Coop, we've talked about this. The Mavs don't have a ton of big assets that they can trade. You can't give up a first-round pick in any trade unless you're getting a piece that you know is going to help you win right now. And you don't know that if that's the case with Cam Reddish.
Yeah, the Mavs are a win-now team. We know the clock on Luka Doncic is ticking, and we'll talk about Luka here in a second. But the Mavs have to get – every acquisition they make has to be geared towards trying to compete for a title, and this one would not be that. It would be gearing towards the future, and the future is now. So they have to do something.
And again, could Cam Reddish contribute on a title contending team? Yes, but we don't know that. There's not enough information out there that would suggest that he can be that guy. So you saw both of our trade ideas, and they weren't great for the Knicks, but that's just where we're at right now. So what do you think? Do you want Cam Reddish on the Mavs? Again, if you don't have to trade that much for him, maybe if the Knicks did pull off a Donovan Mitchell trade and Cam Reddish, gets moved in a minor deal just to kind of free up rotation type of stuff. Okay, fine, that's cool, but I'm not giving up anything significant for him. Type Y for yes, type in for no. Do you want Cam Reddish in Dallas? Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Obviously, things have slowed down a bit in the offseason, but we're still trying to get you videos, 3-4 times a week, as often as we can leading up to the regular season. Subscribe right now. Plus, we're about 200 subscribers away from 20,000. Once we reach there, that's kind of a threshold here at Chat Sports. You cross that, you're able to get more resources to that channel. So once we do that, we can do more videos for you guys. So subscribe, turn on those notifications. We'll have you guys updated throughout EuroBasket as well. Let's get you updated on that. Slovenia, 92-85 win over Lithuania. It was a kind of a tough back and forth, Coop. We'll bring you back in a second because you were able to watch a good chunk of this game. I forgot that Sabonis and Valanciunas both play for Lithuania, and you'll live with those numbers if you're Slovenia. 10-5 for Sabonis, 9-12 for Valanciunas. Luka struggled a bit. We'll talk about him specifically, but Coop, what did you see in this game in Slovenia's first game in the it's group play right now?
Yeah, group play. Yep. Luka looked a little sluggish out there, maybe a little slow, a little heavy. But overall, they played really well. Obviously, they didn't need him scoring because they had Dragic doing the majority of that. But Luka was still the orchestrator on offense. He still got 10 assists. He was getting everybody open shots. Mike Tobey, who played college basketball at Virginia, is their big man. He runs the pick and pop with Luka seamlessly.
He was the guy Mavs fans wanted to sign last year because he was kind of Luka's running mate in the Olympics a year ago.
So, and that's kind of how Slovenia is going to play. They're going to play a similar style to the Mavericks, where it's Luka going off a screen and then finding a guy to make a shot.
Yeah, pick and roll, pick and pop.
Yeah, so it was definitely a good start. We want to see more offensive output from Luka. He did play 35 minutes, and it is a 40-minute game. So he was probably tired, but they have 4 more hard games, and we'll see where it goes from here, but I'm going to pull up this tweet from Tim McMahon here. Basically, when Luka plays, Slovenia does not lose.
Yeah, exactly. We'll pull up that in a second. But Luka Doncic now 10-0 for Slovenia when he plays in the EuroBasket for Team Slovenia. Now, you're probably asking, wait, didn't they lose the other day? That was not EuroBasket. That was World Cup qualifiers when they lost to Germany. World Cup is next year for FIBA, so two separate events. But when Luka's out there, Team Slovenia is the team to beat in EuroBasket, at least up to this point. Slovenia was able to pull away in the fourth quarter. Coop, there was one moment, even though Luka didn't play great, we'll look at his numbers in a moment, where I heard you go, whoa, and I was like, what happened? And explain that play for
man.
us.
So he starts out at the top of the key. He gets a screen on his left side, and then he knifes into the lane. And he has a defender sitting basically, I don't think they have a restricted circle in FIBA, but he's sitting where the restricted circle is. And he goes, like, he takes the ball with both hands and then goes to his right side and wraps it around to Mike Tobey for a dunk. Just a classic Luka play that no one else in the world is making.
He's just so crap. He sees the plays before they happen.
And they needed this because Slovenia went into the fourth down and they went on this run, and that's what ended up giving them the lead, and they took it over for good.
Yeah.
But so not a great start for Luka, as we'll pull up his stats here, but you'll live with this any day of the week.
Yeah, I mean, still a double-double, 14 and 10, grabbed 6 rebounds. The shooting game for him, but controlling the pace of play and, a good start to the EuroBasket, the first of 5 games in group play. Remind me when they're back in action here, Coop, Saturday against, do we know? They play Saturday, if you want to go look up the schedule. We had a graphic for it, but 4 more games to go in group play. And, hey, if you're watching, let us know. Type W for watching, N for nah. If not, or if you are, we're going to recap some of these games moving forward, so stay with us here. It's always fun to watch Luka Doncic play basketball. It's more fun when it's with the Mavs, but, Slovenia, I think, is kind of the Mavs' second country at this point, so it's all good. W for watching, type N for nah, and continue to let us know in the comments if you want more Luka and Slovenia updates throughout EuroBasket. If you do, we will continue to bring you those updates. You also have made it to the end of the video, so spam MFFL if you're a real one. If not, I guess you're not a real one. Also, subscribe. Coop and I will be back soon with another episode of Mavericks Today.